We're going to talk about casing. So everybody who installs doors, everyone that I've ever dealt with who installs doors does it differently. Everybody has what works best for them. Typically what you do though is you come in, you set your door, you use your levels, you make it all nice and perfect with your reveals around your doors. And after that, you come in with your casing and your headers. There are a variety of different casings for the legs, for the headers. There's so many different styles. For this particular home, it's more of a traditional / craftsman style that we have here. And so we went fairly simple with our casing and our headers. We went with a 1x4 for our legs and a 5/4 by 6 for the header. There's a couple of reasons why we do that. A lot of people do a 1x4 for the legs and a 1x6 for the baseboard. We like to have steps. We like the steps. We don't like everything being on one plane. It creates a separation from your baseboard to your casing to your headers. We could have done a 1x6 on the top to match the 1x4 on the legs, but just in adding that 5/4 instead of the 1x, it steps out that 1/4 of an inch more, so it gives more depth, more reveal. Again, same thing with the casing and the baseboard. So we go from a 1/2 inch on the baseboard to 3/4 on the legs, and then we get even bigger and bulkier at the top on the header. And other than wanting that added depth, there's not really a reason for it. It's just a style preference. Typically you set the doors first, then you case it, and then you do baseboard. So after you set the door, you start with, basically I work from my floor up. Because sometimes you have more than just a casing leg, you'll have a plinth block down at the bottom, which is an extra piece as well. So you put that plinth block on first, and then you put your casing leg, and then you put your header. So before you put your legs on, in order to get your casing legs nice and straight, a lot of people will mark it every foot or so, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch in, and they'll mark it. So that way, as you put your casing on, the reveal from the inside edge of your door jamb to the inside edge of your casing leg is nice and straight and clean. So you do that on both sides. You get it to where you're perfect, you nail it on, you make it to where your reveal across the top is the same as the side. You measure from that line to the floor. Again, you take that 1/4 of an inch up off the floor so it's not sitting on the floor, and you cut it to that length. And then after you are done putting your casing legs on, that's when you measure for your header. And as far as this header here goes, we have a 3/4 of an inch reveal off the side. Again, that's a preference thing. You can go 3/4 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you prefer. We like 3/4 of an inch because it shows more depth and more difference. On this door in particular, we are inside an inside corner on a wall. And so as far as the casing leg for this goes, you do the same thing as this one. You measure the height, you get it to where it goes, but these are 3.5 inches wide. Our distance here is just over 3 inches. With the inconsistencies of drywall sometimes and the mud after they sand it, sometimes at the bottom you can be 3 inches and at the top you could be 3 inches and 1/8. And so you can't just cut it at 3 inches, you rip it in your table saw at 3 inches, because then you'll have a big gap at the top versus the bottom. And so you basically, you bring it in and you scribe it. So you put it in here. I like to scribe it on the inside edge of the jamb and then subtract that 3/8 of an inch before I run it through my saw. Everybody does it a little bit differently. And it's done differently when it's paint grade versus stain grade as well. You want to be a little bit more precise when it comes to the stain grade. There's no caulking to hide any of those imperfections. The millwork you choose to put in your home, it sets the style for your home. The type of trim work you pick to put in your house is what kind of defines the theme and the style of your home.